Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part 3 in our Hephaestus mini-series. I have all the items we need to get our smeltery built, and I prepared an area for it. I'm going to make one that's a 4x4 internal, 4x4x4, so it'll hold 64 spaces inside. I got a second room over here just to have a place for to set up like a bedroom or something if I want to. So yeah, let's get started. We need to do our smeltery controller is like the brains of our system. We're gonna need a lot of seared brick. So I'm gonna first do like a row here that's raised up, just because I like to have our stuff at eye level. And then we're gonna do a drain here. I'm gonna make a second drain. We're gonna put that right here. That means we can put both of our faucets there. We can put a basin here, and we can put a basin here. Our tanks are going to go on this side. I think that's all the ones I have made. Might make some more. The bottom of the smeltery has to be all seared brick. And then the walls have to be filled in so that it will be complete. And once we put this in, it'll complete the smeltery, which you can see it changes the graphics of this block to make it a complete smeltery. You can see the lava is shown in the GUI here. This is our capacity for the smeltery, 384 ingots, and this is our place to put items in. And so this is, I want to go so that it's 4 tall, but I don't quite have enough blocks for it yet. But the reason I'm building this before I craft up all of our grout is because, I'll demonstrate it with this. If we cook off grout in a furnace, we get 1 seared brick per grout. If we do it inside of our smeltery, we could also have done it in the melter, but in here, then every piece of grout becomes 2 bricks. So we had 7 there. Now we have 3 blocks plus 2 bricks, which is a total of 14. The other thing we can do is we should be able to melt back down our melter and our heater because we no longer need them, and we should get seared stone back out of it. I'm going to move this table over here. And you can see that any casts we have in our casting chest stay inside the chest as we move it, which is really convenient. And I'm going to use ingot cast here. And the other thing I'm going to do, grab some iron and get some wood. Moved everything around, so it's struggling to remember exactly where everything is sometimes. If we do this, and then we're going to do another chest. So what we want here is we're going to put a chest there. Let's do hopper like that. So now we have the ingot here. So if we pour out a brick, then the hopper will automatically pull it once it cools. And the last thing we need to do, temporarily, we'll just put a block there. If you send a redstone signal into the faucets, they will continue to pour as long as there's a spot underneath where we can pour things to, which means we can put in seared brick in there. You can see all of the seared melter and the heater got turned back into stone. So this will just process into brick for us. And so now we can take sand, clay, gravel. We can make up a whole batch of grout. We can put it in. Right now we can only put 32 in at a time because that amount you can put in is based on the spaces inside. Because as you can see, they actually get put into the spaces while they are melting. And that's why I want to have it 4 tall, because then I'll have 64 spaces, meaning I can throw an entire stack into the smeltery at once. But for now, we can do 32. Another thing we could do if we wanted to is you could put a hopper on the smeltery controller, and that means that you could make it so that items go in, are fed into it. In fact, I might switch the smeltery controller over to here so that we can put a hopper next to it. Probably what we'll do, but I'm not going to do it right now because if you break one of the sidewall blocks or one of the other parts, you can rebuild it and everything will be fine. You'll retain your stuff. But if you were to break the smeltery controller while there are fluids inside, then all the fluids are just deleted. And I don't want to lose 35 blocks of seared stone. So I'll switch these once they're done processing all of our seared stone into seared bricks. I've gotten the rest of our smeltery built up by pouring out the seared bricks. I left some in here because we're going to use it shortly, but I also made some more tanks so that we had a larger lava tank over here. And when I was looking here on the map, I saw that there is lava underneath where we were, so I kind of dug down. And I've been emptying out the lava that's down here, just so we can use it up. And then we can fill that area back in. The smeltery is all set up for us to do the next thing that we want to do, and that is working on getting our anvil set up. So our anvil is how we move into the next tier of tools, and there's the anvil is pretty simple to build. You just need 4 seared blocks and then 3 anvil metal blocks, and the anvil metals are all the ones that are listed here, and you could also use netherite. Obviously I don't have a 3 blocks of netherite as I haven't gone to the nether yet, but these are the different options that we have. There's a bunch of different ones that you could use depending on what you have and what you have access to. I'm going to work with slime steel because we found that sky slime geode and harvested it out, so we have a bunch of sky slime crystal blocks. So the recipe for slime steel is iron mixed with sky slime mixed with seared stone. So I already have some seared stone in there. I'm just going to do a handful of each of these for now. Let's do 16. And then we'll see how much that makes. It's a small amount of iron mixed with a larger amount of the sky slime and the crystal. I just don't know how much we get from the sky slime. So we're just going to see how much we get from each of these. And then how much we get total. So you can see the smeltery, unlike the melter, when you put multiple fluids in, if there are ones that alloy together, they will form into that alloy. And so all of the sky slime we used ended up making 3 blocks and 5 ingots of slime steel, which is perfect. And so when you're pouring metals out of the smeltery, it uses whichever one is on the bottom. So you can go in here, you just click on the one that you want. So I also want to do, before we get too far here, just to make our lives a little easier, I am going to set up automation on our casting basin as well. So we need another hopper. And we're going to come in here and go underneath. And this hopper is just going to feed into that hopper, which means anything that's put into the casting basin will also lead into this chest. And then we can put a lever here. So we have 3 blocks of slime steel and 5 ingots. Let's pull the 5 ingots out first. We'll just do that manually. Okay, and then now we have the seared stone and the slime steel is queued up. We also have some iron up top, but that's fine. We're going to let this pour out, and that's going to give us the 3 blocks of slime steel, and then it's also going to pour out the seared stone as blocks, which means we can get the blocks that we need to craft the anvil. Okay, I've gotten the blocks we need to craft our anvil, and so it's just 3 pieces of the metal blocks and 4 seared stone underneath it. And that will give us an anvil. Now, the Tinker's anvil, while it's shaped like a regular anvil, is a little more complicated. And I'm going to put it here with the other Hephaestus items because it will connect to the multi-block. So just like the Tinker's station, It allows you to make tools. So does the Tinker's Anvil. And in fact, you can replace the Tinker Station with the Anvil because it also does everything that the Tinker Station does. In fact, I might do that just for simplicity's sake. Let's put the Anvil here. You can actually craft it using this just so that you can use it up, but I just wanted to show both ways. But so in the Tinker's Anvil, you can do a couple of things. One is you can do upgrades to your tools that are a little more complex because it has extra spaces for that. And also you have access to the broad tools. So we have a broad blade, an excavator, vein hammer, a sledgehammer, the broad axe, the scythe, and we can now make a longbow. And so we'll be able to do the crossbow and the longbow. So we're gonna start by making the sledgehammer. The sledgehammer is made with a hammerhead, tough handle, 2 large plates. So while you can make them out of any material, so you could use wooden pieces or stone pieces, I'm gonna cast some pieces for this. And just for our purposes, I'm gonna do them all out of iron. So I'm going to throw a bunch of iron into our smeltery, and I'm going to turn off this auto pour. We're almost empty of the seared blocks. Anyway, I want that iron to be in there. So as far as pieces that we need, in order to make them, we're going to need to use some gold from here. And then we're going to start by casting the pieces in wood. So we need a large plate. We need the hammerhead, and we need the tough handle. So we're going to take these items. One of them will go in here. We need to hook up some gold so that we can use it for creating the casts. So we're going to pour out the gold to make a cast. Then we're going to select the iron so we can cast a part. Do the same for a hammerhead. And then finally our large plate. Now when it comes to large plate, I'm going to need 2 of them. And as we made the casts in gold, we can put them in our cast chest. And then if we ever need to make another sledgehammer or any other tools that use those pieces, we don't have to remake the casts. So these parts, just like when we use the Tinker Station, work pretty similarly. We put them into the slots and we put them in like this. And there we go. We now have sledgehammer. So I'm going to go down here to do a little demonstration of how the sledgehammer works. And we're just going to find out an area here just to show you how it works. And it's like a pick, except that it works in a 3x3 area. There's more lava on this side. I didn't even notice that. Now we know. So it'll mine all the blocks that are in a 3x3, and the reason I made it entirely out of iron is because iron adds the magnetic trait. So if you notice, as soon as the blocks are created in the world, they pretty much just get put right into my inventory, which is nice when you're mining in a 3x3 area because you don't want to have the pieces getting all, or the items dropping all along the sides while you're mining through quickly. So I personally like to make it out of iron. You don't have to make it entirely out of iron. You can mix and match the parts, get different traits, but there are lots and lots of combinations in Hephaestus that you can do. Another tool that I want to show you, this time we're going to need to do 2 plates and 2 handles. So it's made with the same cast that we made before. So I think we have enough iron left to finish this off. Two handles go like this, and then 2 plates. And now we've got our first iron excavator. And so I'll use this to demonstrate as well. It works very similar to the sledgehammer, except that this is basically like a shovel. So I can excavate large areas of materials that we can dig up like with a shovel, but I can do it in a 3x3 area. And so it makes it so that we can clear out large areas of space very quickly with the combination of these 2 tools. So you can see this gravel pit is no match for our excavation. There are lots of other tools that we can also make using the Tinker's Anvil. I'm gonna go through and make a couple of them for us to use, and we'll get ready to do some stuff with them. One of them specifically that I want to do for sure is the longbow, and this time I'm going to use string for the actual part for it. So we need the bowstring, we need two limbs and a grip. And so we're going to put the string in, get it like that. And I'm going to make the other parts for this also out of iron, I think, just to try it out and see how it works. So let me cast a couple of those. All right, so we've made our first longbow using the Hephaestus. Let's grab some arrows. So you can see it works just like a regular bow, but we can actually do some things to change the stats for this, that change things like draw speed, velocity, projectile damage. So you can make a bow that shoots arrows that do a lot more damage, and you can shoot them much faster using different modifiers that we can add to the bow. And there's lots of different things you can do to change all of the tools and weapons in Hephaestus. So I encourage you to look through the books to see what the modifiers do, and to just do some experimenting, because there's literally thousands of combinations, and each type of material has different effects on what you do. And then there's also modifiers that we can use to change them. And if you read through here, it tells you what each of the tools do as far as extra abilities that they have and things like that. So it's definitely worth going in and just experimenting a lot. But this is the basics of how you create the weapons and the armor, or the weapons and the tools. So what we still need to work on is getting to the point where we can make better armor, because the traveler's gear is, while it gives us some minimal armor, what we really want to make is plate armor. And so plate armor is made with cobalt, so we'll have to get into the nether, but it does some, it gives us some extra armor to start with, because it's the same level of armor as diamond armor would be, but we can also do a lot of upgrading to do some pretty crazy stuff with it. There's also a plate shield, which we definitely want to get into. So what I'm going to work on next is getting set up to show you the quickest and easiest way to get to the nether using Hephaestus, and we will work on getting set up in there. I've gathered up a bunch of things for showing you the obsidian. One thing is that I dug up the rest, or cleaned up the rest of that lava in that lava pit. And what I did is made a bunch of tanks that hold the lava. So we have it all up here. We can just use it as we go. So normally when you want to get obsidian, you just take water and you pour it over lava and you get a bunch of obsidian, then you dig it up, you get obsidian. Certainly viable option. Hephaestus gives us an option that I prefer to use, because if you take a fluid and you put it into a seared drain, it puts it inside the smeltery. If you do that with water and lava, then inside the smeltery, the lava turns to obsidian. So when you have a couple tanks of lava, you have the ability to make a whole bunch of obsidian really quickly without having to do any of the mining. All you have to do is keep putting water in from an infinite source like the one I have here in the wall. That's 9 blocks. Let's do 2 more. Okay, so now we have 17 blocks of obsidian, and then all you got to do is, when the obsidian is the one selected, turn this on and let it form inside our casting basin. And we will get blocks of obsidian, and it's just a matter of waiting for them to solidify. Pretty simple way to get obsidian without actually having to go and mine a whole bunch of obsidian. Made a bunch of obsidian, and I've also made some more iron repair kits, and I made a good set of iron armor. Just until we get plate armor, I wanted something protective to go into the nether with. Door open. I do need to get one more piece of iron and some wood. Want to make shield. I think shield is still this recipe. Oh, sure. Shield. That was close. So we're going to use that to replace our traveler gear for the moment. The other thing I wanted to do is one of the modifiers we can do on tools is to add a diamond to it. It does take up a slot. You can see it takes up one of our upgrade slots, but it increases our durability, and it puts us at the harvest tier for diamond. I'm also going to do that on our sledgehammer. That also gives really big durability boost and increases it to diamond. So now we can mine obsidian with both of those. Also, we can just have a huge amount of durability. So I'm going to go over to set up a portal, and I want to do it over this direction, kind of like having my portal, when it's convenient, right at the center of our world. So let's see. This is 0, 0. I'm going to do a portal that is like a 3-sided portal and kind of make this the anchor of the world. Oops. Not what I meant to do. But you can see why I wanted to add a diamond to my iron pick. It is really convenient that one diamond, and it makes it the same as a full iron pick as far as harvesting goes. Now, it doesn't give it the same level of speed and everything you would get with a regular diamond pick. You have to do some upgrades to make it that way, and so I think it's kind of a nice balance. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, that's correct. So let's leave it like that. Let's get this tree out of here. Go. And I'm going to, oops. Planks for the bottom, and I think I'm going to use a piece of oak in the middle just to give it a little different color. I don't have any torches. I also want to go make a new tool. When it comes to Hephaestus, there's another tool that we can use, which is kind of nice. It is like a flint and steel. Oops. Not the piece we need. We need this piece, except that it's made with seared stone. And so it is, as soon as you put it into your inventory, it becomes a tinker's tool. So flint and brick, it has different modifiers on it. So it's fiery, so it ignites targets of melee attacks and fired arrows. The tool does damage to targets that are on fire, and the tool can create fire on usage. So that means that this is like a flint and steel, except it's not as expensive to make. I'm going to grab some wood here and some coal. We should probably sleep too. Since we already have access to iron, I could have easily made a flint and steel as well, but since we're doing Hephaestus, we might as well try to use all the tools that we can. And I have not gotten to look at it yet, but I think that I can actually add modifiers to this and make it kind of cool. So we will do that at some point. I'll build the rest of this portal later. I want to go ahead and get into the nether. Now I need to be careful in here because I don't want to get shot. Okay, what do we have here? It looks like it's open that way. I'm going to put for now, I'm just going to put like a wall this side of our portal because all I'm really concerned about are ghasts. That'll keep us from getting shot at gas when we come through. I want to get down to 0, but on the level of... Why do I have a death mark? Must be from another map that was the same name, because I have not been in here before. But I want to get down to 0 at level 10. I'm going to... When we did the Bedrock Realm, we put our nether hub down deep in the world at the level 10, and the advantage to that was that we got tons of ancient debris because it all spawns down at that level. And so I'm going to use that method again. So let's see. Do I have ladders? Let me do. I got to be real careful not to dig down and fall, because there's probably some opening below us at some point. Yes, there is. So go down. One more. Looks like maybe over that direction it will rise up again. Let's dig forward a little bit. Then poke our heads down again. And see where we go. That's closer. Less close. Oh, there's some cobalt. I can see it already. I think here I'll survive this fall. I'm going to drop down. Then we'll eat. Find some cover. Oh, we're going to die. Okay. It's going to be a little harder to survive in the nether than I expected. So I'm going to get in there and I'll get a ladder down to where I want to be. And then we can come back and we'll set up our portal. I've done a lot of digging out and gotten some paths started here in the nether. Just went like 100 blocks out in each direction. This one I went a little farther, and this one I went all the way out to 300 before I ran into lava. Basically, this is how I want to set up any kind of nether hub that I will do here. It's really nice because I get the only real obstructions you run into are when you have to deal with a little bit of lava. Sometimes that can be a little bit annoying, but it's not too bad. And we get a ton of ancient debris and cobalt doing it this way. Just from those short sections that I have done. Uh-oh, it's dark. Better rush. From those short sections that I have done, I got 4 pieces of ancient debris already, and I got 47 pieces of cobalt. So we're going to take this cobalt and we're going to... Oh, that's interesting. I thought we could do that in the... I guess we just smelt it up. Did not expect that to be a thing. That's fine. I have a blast furnace I got from a village. I could craft one too, but I have one, so we'll use it. Put it right up here. And... yeah, so it has to be in a blast furnace. Weird. Never seen a recipe like that before. All right, we're going to cook this up, and then we're going to use it to make up some plate armor, and then we'll do some stuff with that. Figured out the trick with the cobalt. So if we want to use the raw cobalt, we can only put it in a blasting recipe in the blast furnace. That gets us 1 ingot for 1 raw cobalt. So we get 1 ingot for 1 raw cobalt. However, if we craft 9 raw cobalt into a block of raw cobalt, and then we melt it in the smeltery, we get 1 block plus 3 ingots. So we get an extra 1/3, like we do with other ores, as long as we smelt it as block. It's the same as in the foundry. The foundry gives us iron back instead. The foundry is something we're still yet to get into, but we will go over that a little bit. But for now, I just wanted to get our cobalt so that we can make some armor out of it. So we're gonna do, it looks like I have a little bit of iron still in there. Let's take a piece of iron just so we can put that up. So I'm gonna get some cobalt for us so that we can do some crafting, and then we will look at how the plate armor works. Gotten all our platinum ready, and I'm gonna make the plate armor. So the plate boots and leggings, the chest plate, and a helmet. And the recipes are pretty standard. There are some chains in places where you would normally have other armor, so it makes it makes recipes a little bit cheaper, which is nice because cobalt is pretty rare. But it also, I like the fact that they have decoration where the chains go to make it look pretty cool. So we're going to take these off, and we can, I believe, melt these back down to get some iron back out of them. And we're going to put these on, and you can see the armor is not quite as full as what it would be if you had diamond armor, but these have 4 defense slots, 1 upgrade slot, 1 ability slot on each one. And what we're going to do is work on making protection for them. So there's different types of protection, but what we want to do is get 4 of each of these to put onto each piece of armor. So we're going to need in total, oh, I forgot to make our plate shield. That requires 2 cobalt. Have that, I need wood. There we go. No. Oh, it needs to be crimson or warp planks. All right, well, we'll have to go get those. Not a problem. I don't know if I grabbed any while I was in the nether. I did not, but I do know where some are, so we'll go get those in a little while. But we basically need to get 4 of each type of protection to put onto each of our armor, and that includes our shield. And then that'll give us full protection from all the different sources. So blast protection, fire protection, magic, melee, and projectile. To get to each of these, there's different things that we need to do as far as molten objects. So we have gold, seared stone, emerald, cobalt, and this one is amethyst bronze. So there's quite a bit of collecting we need to do for that. The only ones that are kind of difficult to get are, we don't have a way to get emeralds yet, so we're going to have to work that out. And the amethyst bronze requires us to have amethyst to mix with copper to make amethyst bronze. So those are things I'm going to have to figure out how to get. I'm going to work on those in the next episode. I think the next episode is going to be the last one where we deal with Hephaestus. I want to finish doing this, show you a little bit more about the upgrade system. And also, there are 2 more books. And get to where they are. I thought they were at the end of this book. Maybe they're at the end of the second book. Yeah, I think it is. Further reading. So there are oh, maybe it's the third. Found it. These are the books I wanted. There is a gadgetry book, and there is a fantastic foundry book, and then there is also the book here, which is the Encyclopedia of Tinkering. So this is basically the combination of all of the other books. So I want to get all of those made, and we'll go through a little bit in each of those just to show you some of the more detailed things. I'm not going to go through all of those things in detail. This is a mod that basically you just want to experiment and try things out with. So I'm just kind of giving you an overview. But I do want to do the upgrade system and a little bit more with that. And we will cover a little bit of the gadgetry and the foundry in one more episode, and then we'll be done with Hephaestus for now. I hope you enjoyed watching this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.